Released in early 2017, the Nintendo Switch brought something new to the console market that we'd never really seen before, and that was a fully portable next-gen experience. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91Tech, and today we're going to be taking a look at this new Nintendo Switch that I got. Is it still worth buying in 2018? First, let me start by saying that this is the coolest console I've ever played with. It's a truly unique experience, and the ability to be able to take your gaming on the go is an amazing concept. I never really thought this would happen. However, just because the Switch is really cool doesn't mean it's necessarily worth buying, so let's explore the Switch a little bit further and take a look at some of the basics before we answer the question. So obviously the entire appeal is the fact that this thing is completely portable, but also can work like a normal console with your TV. The transition is seamless. Just put it in the dock and bam, it's on your TV, take it off and voila, it's on your Switch. It's fun to use and is great design on Nintendo's part. The dock itself is decently made, although it can scratch the Switch's screen very easily if you're not careful, so I would definitely recommend getting a screen protector. The design of the Switch itself is a lot like a small tablet, with a 6.2-inch LCD display that pushes a resolution of 1280 by 720. This honestly isn't anything amazing, but when you take into account the size, it does still look pretty good. And because of the lower quality display, it is much better battery-wise, so I'll give it a pass here. It can output 1080p when it's connected to a TV via HDMI, but unfortunately no 4K. This is fine, as don't forget they had to fit this all into this tiny little body. It's quite thin and light, and while it's a bit too big for most pockets, it's definitely a nice size. I wouldn't really want it any smaller. Moving to the sides, we have the slots for the Droidcon Controllers to just slide in, which is a really awesome feature that gives a lot of choice for gaming. If you want to play while holding it, you can, or you can prop it up and take the Joy-Cons off to use it like a mini TV. It does have a little stand on the back, but it feels a bit cheap, and it also makes it so you can't stand it up and charge it at the same time because the charging port is on the bottom. Kind of annoying, but admittedly it's not the biggest deal in the world. Talking about ports, we have USB-C for charging, which is an amazing inclusion. It also has a headphone jack, which is always nice to see. The Switch comes with 32 gigabytes of internal storage, which isn't really a lot, but it also has a slot for micro SD cards, which is awesome. So I definitely recommend picking up one of those, especially if you're someone who likes to download games to their device instead of using physical copies. The Joy-Con controllers themselves, which the Switch comes with, feel actually pretty good to hold. I really like them, and my only real gripe is that if you have larger hands, using them might get uncomfortable after a while, as they are quite small, but getting a Pro controller would definitely solve that issue. The Joy-Cons have pretty decent battery life and charge by just connecting to the Switch. They also have really cool vibrations, which kind of sounds weird, but kind of the rumble with the controller when something happens, it vibrates. It feels kind of similar to what Apple has on their iPhones. Best vibrations I think I've felt on any controller for a console, for sure. What's also cool about the Joy-Cons is that they can each work like a separate controller with or without the included straps, and you don't have to use them both at the same time. So out of the box, you can play multiplayer games like Mario Kart. The Joy-Con grip that the Switch comes with is pretty handy for making the Joy-Cons feel more like a regular controller, and I find myself using it a lot. But overall, controller-wise, the Switch is awesome. Gives you a lot of choice. Most options out of any console by far. Spec-wise, the Switch seems pretty unimpressive on paper, but it's real-world performance that counts. So it has a NVIDIA custom Tegra processor, and it runs games fairly well. In Zelda, I occasionally had some frame drops in combat, but considering that this tiny device is pushing a game as big as Breath of the Wild, I'm pretty impressed. So while graphics aren't going to be anything near the PS4 Pro or Xbox One X, they don't need to be. Nintendo has never really been into having the best hardware, but the best experience. I think they kind of nail it here. Graphics look really nice, especially for the kind of cartoony looking games or stylized looking games. Zelda Breath of the Wild is absolutely beautiful, and games like Super Mario Odyssey and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe look amazing. Speaking of games, let's just go right ahead and talk about them because that's where the Switch really shines. Games come in little cartridges that are actually quite similar to the ones for the 3DS and just pop into the console. I actually much prefer cartridges over discs, as while they're easier to lose, they're also much more convenient to bring around. It was kind of funny the first time I opened a game case and there's just a little tiny cartridge at the bottom because the case feels way too big considering what's inside, but even so, it's pretty cool. The Nintendo Switch has only been out for about a year, but already has an amazing lineup of games, the likes of which I don't know if we've ever seen after only a year. The two standouts are absolutely Zelda Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey, both being widely acclaimed, and Zelda being the game of the year for 2017 for basically everybody. The games are absolutely amazing experiences that can be enjoyed by basically all ages, which is really something special when you consider that a lot of other consoles like PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are geared more towards older audiences. There are, of course, quite a few other games for the Switch like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 2, and so on, and while the library isn't huge yet, don't forget that it's only been a year, and 2018 is sure to bring a lot of awesome new content. So those are the main points of the Nintendo Switch. It's a really cool little machine, and I absolutely love it. but should you actually go out and buy it? Let's take a look at pricing. So on Amazon.com, you're looking at around $300 US, which is actually a really good deal. Considering what you get, I can't really not recommend it for $300. If you have kids, this is the perfect console for them. And if you're older and just looking to have a fun time, this is the console for you. It's honestly great for everybody, and so there's really no one I would say that shouldn't purchase it. Games are expensive though, just as a warning, being around $60 each right now, and it might not be a bad idea to just wait for a sale before jumping on the Switch. So quick conclusion, the Nintendo Switch is just a really awesome console. It's portable, which is not a gimmick whatsoever. It's actually super cool. The controllers and everything feel really good to use. The games are actually really good considering it's only been out for a year, and it's only going to get better. So at the end of the day, you should buy the Nintendo Switch. It's absolutely worth buying in 2018, and I can't recommend it enough. If you are interested in buying a Switch, I'll put a link to the best deal I can find below for Amazon.com. It is a referral link. Obviously, you don't need to use it, but if you do, it helps me out a lot, and I would really appreciate it. And with that being said, I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you out at all, please leave a like and consider subscribing if tech is your thing. What do you think of the Nintendo Switch? Is it worth it, or is it overrated? Let me know in the comments down below. Social media will be linked below, so make sure you go follow me over there. And with that all being said, I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I will see you all next time.